Hi there, it's Rob Nelson again, thinker about and practitioner of collaborative project-based learning and collaborative assessment. And welcome to vlog 2 in the series, The Great Collaborative Project Adventure. In this vlog, I want to address a question that I was asked recently. I'm working with groups in my marketing class, but I have some concerns about whether this is disadvantaging vulnerable learners. Robbie, can you help me with this? First thing we need to do is to define exactly what is meant by the term vulnerable learners. It can mean many different things to many different people. So is it, for instance, a specific learning disability, or is it more of a social challenge? I can recall one student that I worked with a number of years ago who was agoraphobic. Now for them, home was the safe physical and mental space. Getting outside the house, having to travel right across the city and then go into a very different physical environment with a whole bunch of different people in it and different things going on, that was probably more of a challenge than actually doing the learning once they got there, but it sort of sat over the top of being able to do the learning. So one of the things that we've learned, certainly as a result of the coronavirus pandemic, is the amount of work that can be done without everybody in a project team being physically present in the same place at the same time. In other words, they no longer need to be in the same space where they can literally reach out and touch each other, providing we're able to connect in real time. And that's a whole nother issue that for some people we've discovered as a result of the pandemic, I guess, that the ability to connect is not universal. We don't all have the same level of ability to connect. Pandemic didn't create that inequity, it simply helped to reveal it. But it's something that we need to take into account in the way that we're structuring learning experiences which are based around being able to collaborate. It's certainly something that the CHIP model, or the Collaborative Holistically Integrated Project model that I've developed as part of my doctorate in professional practice work, addresses, because while it wasn't specifically developed around people being in a distributed environment rather than all in a physically together environment, it's something which is very easy to accommodate. In fact, there's terrific learning in being able to work remotely. For some of us, it means we don't get distracted by other things going on around us, so we can really focus on the specific piece of project work that we're doing, and then be able to bring something which is a little bit more coherent, a little bit more finished back to the group once we've done it, and to share it with them. We also learn to, I guess, play together a little bit more nicely, because my experience of working in the online world is that sometimes the reactions that people have to each other and to the work that they're doing can be a little bit, how should we put it, a little bit more play nicely together than in the physically in the same space. I'm staring into the whites of your eyeballs. And I've certainly seen groups in the past where people working together has actually worked against them, and I've had to separate people to literally instruct them to work in physically different spaces because they were so emotionally invested in whatever the dispute was that they imagined they had going on between them, that got in the way of the project work, not only for those people, but also for the other people in the group who weren't necessarily involved in the conflict, but they were involved, I guess, at arm's length. They couldn't avoid it because the conflict going on between those two people was impacting on what they were able to share with the rest of the team. And in a way, being able to work in groups, it replicates the real world, doesn't it? Because at work, how many of the tasks that you do are tasks which are completed as part of a group? And if you think back to your own work experience, regardless of what situation it's been in, one of the things that you'll probably realize, if you didn't already, is that everybody brings their own vulnerabilities to work every single day. There are things that they're not comfortable doing in the group, and the group needs to work together to figure out exactly what it is that is going to create a comfortable working experience. And that doesn't necessarily mean that everybody has to disclose the things that are challenges for them or that are worrying them. Some of those challenges may be things which are from their life outside of the project and the project team, and they're not necessarily things that they want to bring in there. But we should have a space where it's okay for people to say, look, there's a little bit of a problem that I'm dealing with, and I just perhaps need a little bit of space, need a little bit of time to deal with that and make sure that what's happening there in that part of my life is not it's not negatively impacting what's going on for the rest of the team. So, critical point here, do you need to be physically in the same space? No. If you are feeling, or you have a learner who is feeling vulnerable for any reason at all, there's plenty of technology available which enables them to do the work that they need to do without having to be in a situation where they feel physically or mentally unsafe. So they're still able to contribute in the same, pretty much the same way that they would if they were physically present, but without having another stress on top. If connectivity itself is an issue, then that may be something where you need to work with that particular learner to put some things in place to try and resolve those issues for them. But working in groups doesn't have to be something which disadvantages vulnerable learners or creates vulnerability for learners where they didn't think or they didn't feel that they had a vulnerability previously. If you've enjoyed this video, please click the like and subscribe buttons down below. Please feel free to leave me some feedback in the comments space down below. And in the next vlog, vlog number 3, I'm going to talk about the issue, very common issue put up, where project teams need a leader. What do you do when somebody says, but I don't want to be a leader. I'm not a leader. I'm comfortable being a follower. Is that going to be a problem? So we'll address that in the next vlog. In the meantime, stay safe, be well, and I'll look forward to seeing you next time. Bye.